Now we have here what I assume looks like the two expansions for Grendel, the Press expansion and Pursuit and Payoff. So let's open this up and see what they look like. Oh, these look cool. All right, let's take a look at, this is Pursuit and Payoff expansion. Game of Ultimate Aggression. So cool. And this is the game, the Press faction expansion. Let's do the Press first. I'm excited about the Press. Now again, I'm gonna go over this with a fine-tooth comb, make sure everything is absolutely correct everywhere. It has to be, but this is already super cool. All right, we have our rule book. Again, one of the best rule books ever. I'm telling you, we went through this so many times with so many people. Special call out again to AJ and Sasha. They were amazing. And they were just people on our Discord channel that wanted to help and did such an amazing job that I've now hired them going forward to be my rules editors because they're so good. That's great. So it had, I don't know if you saw, but it had the rules, and then in the back half it's got the solo mode. So even the Press can be played solo. Amazing. Here's the cards. The cards just look so good. Again, with the white background, it just pops. It just pops. I just love all the art choices that were made to choose here. A lot of this is our graphic designer, Sebastian. So fantastic. Man, oh man. And then these, I don't know how much you all know about even how to play as the Press. The Press play with these polyominoes. I'll try to see if I can set up a little bit. But these are the newspaper cards. So it offers a different polyomino puzzle on every kind of one. And then on the back side, it makes you, so when you flip this one over, you put that piece here and you can't use that piece to make every time you play a kind of a different polyomino. And here's what's, I think, really fun and cute. These are little newspapers, right? And for no reason whatsoever, all of these are different newspapers. And Sen Fung Lim, one of the designers, he wrote there's an actual story that was approved by Matt Wagner for each of these newspapers. Is a story that's thematic and appropriate to the comic. Very cool, Sen. Thank you for that. Sen was mostly in charge of this. Alar was doing the solo, and Sen was in charge of doing the Press. And these are the setup cards. And there's all these different setups. So if you want to play 2-player, you play against Grendel, or you can play Press against Argent, or against Police, or against Mob. And then 3-player, and then 4-player. There's many different 4-players now you can play as. And it shows you how to do all the setups. That's super awesome. And then we just have a bunch. Oh yeah, look at this. So first we have punch board number 1, which has the reference board, what the Press do in the crime phase, and what they do in the mayhem phase. They do something different. They don't do destroy, grunt, and anything. They take snapshots. Works totally different. Very, very cool. Here are their figures. Again, they get a boss captain and 3 other captains, and then some grunts. And then they get these things called source grunts that they can snapshot, take pictures of in case maybe Grendel went around and punched all of the other grunts out on the board. And Press need grunts to take pictures of. That's how they get points. And so they do have control over these 4 about placing them on the board. These are the polyominoes that they're going to be placing. And you can rotate them, but you can't flip them because once you get to an upgrade and you upgrade you gain an upgrade, it means you get to flip any one of these over. And when you flip them over, they have more actions on them because when you place them, you get all the actions on the polyomino that you place. Plus, and I'll show you once we get to the board, these are more tokens. So they have these are called eyewitness tokens that can get shielded when they're flipped, just like everybody else has it. But they also have these eyewitness tokens that are just interesting. I'm not going to fully explain all the rules to it, but these turn into these. And then these are just reminder tokens to kind of place on actions to remind you which ones you've taken this turn. And then this one we had to fold the board because it didn't fit in the box. And then that's the board for the Press. Great. Yes, that is good. And so what would happen is this would get placed here. See how it all lines up? And then we would place polyominoes And the idea is you have to cover the start at the beginning like that, and you don't want to cover the upgrades. You want to have those remain visible. So you might want to do something like this. But if you were to ever, and you can't cover these little, they're kind of like photos on the newspaper page, you can't cover those. But if you were to ever do something like this and like this, if you ever complete a row, you get to draw a card. And if you ever complete a column, you get a free snapshot. So that's some of your puzzle. And you're trying to get to this bottom corner to print your page. And then however many of these upgrade symbols are visible, you get that many upgrades and you can flip things over. And then now you have better tokens, better polyominoes. And then this, of course, as we all know now, the other side is the solo board. In this case, you don't use these on the board. It already has things. So when you place tokens on it, you're going to activate what's on it. And then there's also things around here that you activate in a different way. And which piece you place is actually determined by flipping one of these over. And it says, oh, use this piece. And then you have to place this piece in the top leftmost corner. And I'm not going to explain all the rules for it. That's for later. But very, very cool how everybody has their own solo mode. I think that's great. This all looks fantastic. Initially, I'm very pleased. I haven't given it a really close look, but everything so far looks amazing. I'm very happy with how all this looks. Let's take a look at what the Pursuit and Payoffs looks like. This is the Pursuits and Payoffs. So this is like, I don't know, 5 or 6 mini expansions, kind of, you can mix and match and whatnot and play with in any combination, including with press or without the press. So again, we got a rule book. And so it goes through. So this is the Pursuit and Payoff rule says, hey, there's one of the expansions is called Pursuits and Payoff, and there's another one called Stacy, Informants, Corruption, and Trigger Rewards. So there's 5 little expansions. So this is how you play the Pursuits and Payoffs. There's these Pursuit cards and Payoff cards. This is how you play as Stacy in the crime phase and the mayhem phase. This is how you play with the Informants. That's probably one of the bigger ones. So that's got many pages of how it works. That's a really cool expansion. And then we have Corruption, and that's how you play as Corruption and Trigger Rewards. So 5 cool little expansions. So let's see what some of them look like here. These are the Pursuit and Payoff. These are the Pursuit, specifically, these are the Pursuit cards. And so the idea would be there'd be 2 of these face up. And the first person to do one of these things removes this card, and they get to take a Payoff card that's also face up. And so these are things you want to do normally. Destroy or snapshot a captain. Start a mayhem with 3 or less aggression, and you get a thing. So there's a lot of different ways to get these very game-breaking. Now let's take a look and see what the Payoff cards can do for you. So these are things you want to do anyways, like the gray to shield the token. Yeah, that's something you want to do anyways, but the first one to do it, it might change your behavior, right? You're like, ooh, I wasn't going to do that this turn, but to get this, I might do it. This one, discard. Each opponent discards 1 mayhem card of their choice, and you draw a mayhem card. How great's that? That's a great little thing. Or discard, move 2 captains, yours or opponents, 1 location each. So like 1 space each. Wow. Swap location of any 2 pieces on the map. So very powerful game breaky type stuff that everyone has access to. These are Corruption. And so how these work, these are cool too. I need to get a token thing to show you first. There we go. So Corruption have these 3 tokens here. Little dead body outline, chalk outline type things, and they get placed in specific spots, in 1 in each of the 3 zones. So 1 in Manhattan, 1 in Queens, and 1 in Brooklyn. And then if you ever go create presence in this space, then you get to take, and I think you just take from the deck, 1 of these cards. And you place it face up with a 0 up here. And these give you really cool powers that you can use up to 3 times. Weapon Cache says, when you destroy or snapshot a figure, you can target adjacent spaces. Usually it has to be in the space you're in. And once you use it, you rotate it once to show that you use it once, use it twice, use it 3 times. Not only does it count how many times you use it, that's the other thing is that when we get to score, because you have to take one of those location cards to show which location this came from, like it came from Queens. And so you put a Queens card with this, just the back of it, just saying it came from Queens. And once Queen scores, if I do not score the space where this token is, then I'm going to lose that many points. So it's a kind of a nice risk reward thing about trying to take these, but then this never moves. So everybody who's taken one from queens needs to score that space. So it becomes a very highly contested space. Lots of cool art. I just love how it's like, this is now teal, you know, everything has its own color. Love it. And let's say, so that's those, that's Stacy. She moves on the board, and when you can go around and pick her up and move her with you. And then once a mayhem happens, she flips over and she stops and nobody can move her. And her space now also scores. If it's outside the mayhem zone, then that's fine. She scores, and that zone scores. That location scores. But if it's in the mayhem, then her location counts for 2 points instead of 1. These are the informants. And so they're going to, again, have little standees, and which I see didn't come in here. So I got to make sure they know that the standees for these have to come in here. And these can straddle the line. So they sit between two lines bordering 2 different locations on the game. These are the trigger rewards. They go on queens and on Manhattan. 2 on queens and 1 in Manhattan, because queens only has 4 locations, or 5 in the 4-player, and Manhattan has 5 or 6 in the 4-player. And Brooklyn already has a lot of locations in it, and it always is a high motivation to score in Brooklyn because it has a lot of point potential to get in there. And so we wanted to motivate people to go up to Queens and Manhattan more, and that's what this does. This because you get these, whoever causes the trigger, whoever puts in the token that makes it trigger and fall in the seesaw thing, they get this bonus, whatever it is, immediately. So that's cool. These are little informant boards showing you how you can gain an informant. You have to like destroy, if you're Argent, you have to take off one of your ambush tokens from the board and put an informant there. Whereas if you're a mob, you can destroy any 2 grunts or one of your influence tokens to put a guy there. But everybody has a different reason why they like him, because these 2 people, which is Grendel and Argent, they love informants because now even the informants can destroy grunts and target captains and grunts, because normally you can only destroy captains and grunts wherever Grendel or Argent is. But now with these informants, Grendel or Argent could be way over there on a different part of the board, but now I can still punch or destroy grunts over here. That's cool. And then the mob like it because it's a new type of piece. And the mob scores basically having 2 different types of pieces in a space. So this helps them with their scoring. And the police like it because they like having majority. So there's just more units in those spaces. So that's great. And the press like it for the same reason, that it helps with them with presence as if they're more grunts to help with snapshots. Oh, really cool. Really cool. That is it. How cool is this? Everything is looking super, super cool. I love that. That's nice. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this all looks so good. I am super excited to go through all this with a fine-tooth comb and make sure everything is top-notch for you all. And then soon we will also be doing the same thing, but for the deluxe all-in edition. But that's it for the 2 expansions. Thanks so much. Can't wait for you all to get this.